Solo. Written by the owner of the independent self-proclaimed channel on YouTube. Copyright 2016. The year was 2005 and the National Space League, NSL, was preparing for the launch of its latest single-manned shuttle, Solo. The program had started 4 years earlier after deep space automated robots had proved that intelligent life existed beyond this solar system. This venture was the 14th mission to date, none of them being an entire success. The countdown had started at 20 days and was now down to 6 days, 4 hours 59 minutes and 2 seconds. Designated the first female commander of this program was a woman named Mari Avi. And she had done several days and nights of rigorous training and tests. And was completing the final test. This test was easy compared to the others, it consisted of placing shapes in a ball under 5 gs. Okay, that's it, said a voice over the intercom. Mari was finally free to go, not only on the shuttle but also to start her 5 days of liberty before she left Earth. She ran out of the testing area, down the hall to the front entrance, and across the field to the front gate. As she approached, the guard glanced up and saw her and opened the gate. So how does it feel to be a commander of your own destiny? Asked Stolly, her longtime confidant and the guard on duty. Stolly, you just wouldn't tell me, would you? It's like you said exactly, answered Mari. It's great. I told you that I couldn't explain the overwhelming feeling, it's just too much to describe, explained Stolly. So what will you be doing on these 6 days before launch? Well, I was planning to spend one with a very close friend, but no offers have arisen, hinted Mari. Dang it, and I have this stupid guard duty these next 2 days. Just my luck, answered Stolly, deeply disappointed. Well then, I guess I'll have to come over during your off time and wake you up at least once, grinned Mari. But the rest of the time I'm gonna live life to the fullest that I can. I will be off at 10:30 in the morning if you wanna stop by, offers Stolly. Okay, see you then, Mari answers. Bye. She runs to the other side of the street to hail a cab as it starts to pass. As she enters the musty back seat of the outdated cab, she waved a final farewell to her friend Stolly. It was a 15-mile ride to her home in Homesteads Park, the newest addition to the surrounding community of Cape Canaveral, Florida. During which time Mari reminisced over the past couple of months and wondered what lies ahead of her. What kind of adventure was this voyage going to uncover? Suddenly the cab hits a pothole and jolted Mari back into reality. Enough of that, Mari blurted out. Ah, I'm sorry miss, replied the cab driver. These roads around here are just so unpredictable. Oh, it's okay, Mari apologetically responds. I wasn't directing it toward you, I was just thinking out loud. Aren't you the miss on the front of the Daily Sun? Asked the cab driver. Yes, I am, answered Mari. The one headed into space for 7 years. Boy, replies the cabbie in astonishment, you are one gutsy lady. I couldn't handle all that time alone, not to mention the fear of the unknown. The tone of the cabbie's concern sent chills throughout Mari's body. But only for a second, as she tapped on her head, as if to be knocking out those sort of ideas. Finally arriving at her destination, the cabbie asks for the fare. That'll be $32 miss. Oh yeah, replies Mari as she reaches into her pocketbook and pulls out a $50 bill. Keep the change, and thanks for the ride. Reaching to hand the driver the money, she notices the hack license picture of the man she only saw the back of for the entire trip. Wow, thanks, the cabbie remarks. You've found your greatest fan from now on. Mari laughs, and as she exits the cab she states, okay. I'll hold you to that. The cabbie turns and grins at Mari. He says, I really do wish you the best. He reaches out his hand to shake hers. Thank you very much, Mari replies and shakes his hand. With a remarkably strong grip. As she exits the cab she looks around at the building inn, which she had called home for such a short time. She purchased the property with the money she had worked so long and hard for, but now she won't see it for 7 years. Remembering each and every day as she scanned her 2-story shaker-style house, she finally realized that she was wasting precious time. She snapped herself out of the spell, which she cast unto herself. She skipped up to the door like an eager child going for ice cream. She straight arms the door, and runs into the very spacious combination living room, dining room, and kitchen. Scattered throughout her living space are several dozen bouquets. Taking time to grab a couple of the cards, she sinks down into a very pillowy sofa to read them. The first says, to the most wonderful daughter. From your most wonderful dad. Good luck. I'm very proud of you, love you. Tears came over Mari, as this was the first time her father had ever stated that he was proud of her accomplishments. She curls up like a newborn and cries herself to sleep. 4:45 a.m. Tuesday, June 15, 2005. The next morning, she is awoke by the sound of the coffee maker percolating in the kitchen area of the house. Rubbing the blurriness from her eyes and struggling to find out the time from a clock on the nearby wall, she sees that it is close to 5 a.m. And sunrise would be in 10 minutes. That was her favorite part of each day. It brought back the warm memories of her adolescence when the orange glow of the sun would awaken her each day as it shined into her childhood room. And knowing that her mom was making pancakes and eggs for breakfast just by the aroma in the air. So in the family tradition of breakfast, Mari rushed over to the kitchen and started to prepare the pancakes and eggs she longed for with the sunrise. Keeping track of the time, she hurries over to the balcony, a plate of pancakes and eggs in one hand and syrup and a glass of orange juice in the other. Sitting down at the patio table she grins, thinking to herself, 2 minutes to spare. She sits back and enjoys this great family tradition as the new day breaks. An hour passes like a flash. As she peers down at her watch she decides that was enough. She walked inside to get ready for her leave. 8 a.m. Tuesday, June 15, 2005. Mari opens the front door to her home and starts out on her day. Pulling up to the front of her house in a brand new Zappa that is a turnover on the late muscle cars style, but now running primarily on wind power, was Mari's mechanic of 10 years. Chip relaxed behind the fur-covered steering wheel. "Here she is, Mari," Chip stated in his proud overbearing voice. "I told you she'd be done in time for you. I updated the solar cells, regrooved the wheel generators and upgraded the fan blades to a lighter turnstock. She runs like a dream." Mari's eyes lit up as though she knew what he had said. She never really let on that she couldn't even put air in the tires, much less knowing what the latest mechanics lingo meant. Yet she had learned to trust Chip after all these years. He had never left her stranded or ripped her off. Mari thanked Chip and offered him a ride back to his garage. "Nah. I have already arranged for Buster, my new helper, to pick me up," Chip replied. "So you just go on and do what you have planned. Besides, you don't have all that much time." Mari agrees and decides she will go. She jumps into the car and burns rubber, leaving Chip in a black plume of smelly rubber smoke. Driving down the road listening to the radio playing full blast. As the wind blew through her silky long blonde hair, she has totally forgotten about the upcoming event in her life. She decides that she will head to her favorite spot away from home, Captiva Island, which is quite a drive. Even so, 3 hours are worth every minute because the island had just the right amount of relaxing festivities. The drive itself was fairly uneventful with the exception of one hitchhiker. Even the roads were deserted with nothing but the occasional gator that escaped from the Everglades, and miles upon miles of white sandy beaches unraveled before her hazel eyes. 10:40 a.m. Tuesday, June 15, 2005. Finally, she arrives in Fort Myers, which is the mainland jump to the island over a long continuous bridge. As she drives, she notices the thousands of locals hurriedly scattered around in their everyday routines. As Mari reaches the island, it's 11 a.m. and a great time to do a little shopping in the local shops, but she decides that first off she had better check into a local hotel before the weekend tourists show up in their caravan of buses. She ventures to the west side of the island in search of a quaint and serene resort, one that would place her out of the view of the common tourist. She pulls up to a very cozy yet quite elegant 3-story resort called the Madison Manor Resort. As she pulled up to the drive, the valet was there awaiting the arrival of the guests. "Hello, Miss, week or nightly stay if I may ask?" asks the valet in the customary polite manner that people of this establishment had come to expect from their employees. "I believe that 3 nights will suffice," answered Mari, trying to sound as though she had just graduated from the most distinguished finishing school in England. She walks inside to the front desk and is greeted by a very high-class snooty clerk. "May I help you, miss?" he asks in a highly arrogant voice. "Yes, I would like a room for 3 nights, one with a view of the ocean," replies Mari. "What is the name?" he asks as he looked down at the hotel register. "Do you have a reservation?" he persists. "Well, as a matter of fact, I don't." "Will I need one?" Mari asks, puzzled as she noticed the parking lot to be barren with the exception of 3 or 4 cars. "As a matter of fact, miss, the only way to get an ocean view room is by reservation," answers the clerk, obviously beginning to become perturbed by Mari's persistence. "But we do have one room available without the view. Will that be acceptable?" More than a little disappointed, Mari answers, "Okay. Will that be cash or credit card?" he asks, acting as though she wasn't worthy of credit. Remembering that the NSL had given her a limited express card, she presented it to the clerk. The clerk shook his head in disbelief and scanned the card through the fancy credit checker machine. He went completely white in reaction to what came back on the screen. He looks up and says, "I'm so sorry, Miss Abby. We do have a room with an ocean view, and anything else that you may desire, just ask. If we don't have it, we will get it for you at your convenience." The clerk stumbles for the phone and presses on the intercom. "Bellboy. Front desk, please." Now. Completely befuddled by the clerk, Mari stares at him like a lost puppy. Getting agitated that the bellboy still had not arrived, he once more picks up the phone and calls for him, repeating what he had said before verbatim. As soon as he says the word "now," the bellboy arrives. "Marty, please take Miss Abby to the penthouse and leave her a pass to the hotel yacht." Astonished by the clerk's reaction to Mari and knowing that the yacht was exclusively for use by the wealthiest, the bellboy asks, "The yacht?" The clerk, with an icy glare, replies to the bellboy in an adamant voice, "Yes." The bellboy escorts Mari and her luggage to the elevator. Once they are inside, the door closes, and the bellboy presses a button on a huge panel marked PTH. Then, he slides a card through a scanner, which is immediately followed by the motion of the elevator rising. Mari is still in shock over the whole ordeal with the clerk. Distracted, she didn't realize that the elevator opened directly into the penthouse until she exited and asked the bellboy, "Which way?" The bellboy laughs aloud accidentally and replies to the question, "This is it, madam. Would you care for me to place your luggage in the bedroom suite?" Looking around the penthouse, she sees the most elegant furnishings that she could ever remember seeing throughout her lifetime. Knowing that she must appear comical to the bellboy, she decides to let it go and put on a presentation for the bellboy that would leave him perplexed. "Yes please, maybe," she says. Finally realizing that Mari was just kidding, the bellboy shares a laugh with her. "Yes, please place my things in the bedroom, and if you will, please draw the curtains open. I wish to gaze upon this most beautiful local fauna," she requests. Knowing this time, she was only partially joking, he did as she asked. Upon completing her requests, he returns to her with his arm extended. Nestled in the palm of his hand is the room key and yacht pass. He asked, may I be of any further assistance? Just one thing. If there's no door, why do I need a key card? Mari asks puzzled. Well, miss, when you enter the elevator, the only way to access the penthouse is by scanning the card. Thus, the reason for the card, he answers trying not to burst out laughing. Feeling completely embarrassed and knowing that the bellboy would probably run to his peers with a new blonde joke. The one about the rich blonde that didn't know what a key was for. She tried to play it off as a witticism. Somehow, the bellboy saw through her guise but didn't let her know. Okay, miss, he begins, I will take my leave now. If you should need anything, please don't hesitate to call. The phone is connected directly to the stereo system, so all you do is say, call desk and you will hear the ring. When someone answers, talk normally. To answer the phone, just say, answer phone and so on. If you should need more directions for anything, an info disc lays next to the computer. Just insert it, and the rest being done automatically through voice interaction. Enjoy your stay. With that being said, the bellboy proceeds to the elevator. His hand hovers near the elevator button, then he turns toward Mari with an expectant look on his face. Oh, yes, she says as she reaches into her compact handbag. A few bills grease his palm. Thank you, he says, disappearing behind the closing elevator doors. Thinking to herself. Finally. Mari looks around the room in amazement, realizing this was the first out of the many dozen times that she had been down to Captiva Island. Never before has she stayed in such a high-class establishment. And in a penthouse, she yells, her voice vibrating off the walls and making an echo like a yodeler atop the Swiss Alps. Her only wish is that she could decide what to do first. She feels like she's in Las Vegas and had won millions from a casino. The hotel brass was treating her like a high roller with the fancy rooms and with all the free perks that go with. It's the whole 9 yards, and savoring every minute. As she notices the decor and the outside view, she starts dancing around the room. Outside her window, she notices a boat pull someone in a rainbow-colored parasail out of the turquoise-colored water and up into the cloudless blue skies. The long, white sandy beach stretches in both directions with only one dock to obscure the apparent advantages of the natural surroundings. She walks out onto the terrace and watches as the parasail rises and descends. The laughter that she hears cements the image of a frantic roller coaster ride in her mind. Returning through the penthouse doors, she sees the info disc, which the bellboy had mentioned. She places the disc into the computer. There's a few beeps, then a voice of a woman is heard through the entire penthouse. Welcome to the Madison Manor Resort. I am Vera. I am your automated host. If there is anything at all that you may desire, please announce it at any time, day or night. The manner of the machine reminds her about the training she had undergone for the mission, like how to interface with the shuttle's mainframe, how to perform daily functions, and how to complete maintenance checks. Why not just get used to it, Mari, she says aloud. This is your life for the next few years. Pardon? I do not comprehend. Please redefine. Blurts out the computer. Oh, nothing. I would just like a glass of iced tea. Mari answers. Would Earl Grey herbal passion be sufficient? Asks the computer. Yes, that will be fine, answers Mari. Milk or sugar? Asks the computer. No, thank you, she says. Remembering her training, she cuts to the chase and adds, shaved ice, Vera, before the computer has a chance to ask her about the several different ways her ice can be served. A very low mechanical wheezing noise emanates from the wall, then a small platformed robot appears through a small opening. Atop of the robot is a serving tray with the tea, as ordered. Mari thinks to herself, I've heard of dumbwaiters before, but this is no dumbwaiter. She laughs out loud. 12:45 p.m. Tuesday, June 15, 2005. Mari enters the elevator in search of something to do. She presses the button to return to the lobby. As the doors reopen, she has a chance to visually soak in the main lobby. She sees a marble fireplace surrounded by expensive furnishing. On the mantel over the fireplace hangs a painting, which she's fairly certain is a Van Gogh original. She also notices an enormous windowed wall with 2 huge sliding glass doors that lead to a pool area, and she scampers over to peek at the occupants to see if the pool might warrant a visit. Not seeing one soul in the pool, she decides against. Suddenly, a strange feeling comes over her. Mari felt as though she's completely paralyzed. Things around her continue flowing in their normal fashion, but Mari remains frozen in place. Unsure of how to remedy this helpless situation unlike any other she had never experienced before, she slips into a panic. Her throat constricts, and she's unable to scream. All she can do is to stare straight ahead like watching TV. Several minutes pass. Then as abruptly as it happens, it subsides. Sample copy only, not for resale. No part of this audio may be altered, reproduced, or sold in any way without written authorization from the author.